Oh, hey there. Welcome to the Panther Nation podcast with Hunter Hinkle and my co-host Sam Rupe. Volleyball beat West End in 3 sets.
Girls soccer lost at Tri-Valley 3-0.
Boys soccer lost at Westfall 5-0.
And football beat Maysville 54-16 last Friday, and they take on Meadowbrook this Friday night. We're going to send it to my favorite interviewer, Sam Rupe. Take it away. Hello, everyone. I'm Sam Rupe. I'm here with Doug Clifford, Coach Board, and Eli Stephens. We're going to be talking about last week's game along with this week's game. So, Coach, now that you have had time to review the Maysville tape, what stood out most about how your guys executed?
The guys played very well, Sam. We start out. We got the ball first. We went down and scored. Take the second play, 55 yards. So we get inside the 5. Then Paul Stinson, after a week off, came back in and pounded it in on his first carry. So he seemed like he was good to go. Then we get a 3-and-out on defense, force him to punt. Have an issue with the snap. Got a short field, scored again. So it's kind of like a perfect storm in a way for us. Been on the other side of that, unfortunately, where things just kind of fall in place right in front of your face. It's like, well, what do you do? Like your entire game plan is out the window because, there's still 10 minutes left and they're down by 14. So I think, guys, everything went well for us right off the bat, which puts a lot of pressure on the other team. And it wasn't something that game plan-wise we created or anything else. It was just kind of some miscues on special teams that led to some of those tries. We had the blocked one later on. So I thought we did a very good job in all 3 assets of the game.
Eli, walk me through what was it like controlling the line of scrimmage last week, and where did you feel the O-line dominated?
I felt like we really dominated the whole game. I felt like they didn't have an answer for our run game and just like our pass game. And I just felt like we just moved the line of scrimmage from like where the ball was snapped to like 3 yards down the field. So I feel like that helps out Paul a lot.
Coach, was there a specific position group that really stepped up against Maysville that might have flown under the radar?
Our DBs did a good job. We really, in our league, aside from Tri-Valley, Meadowbrook this week, and Maysville a little bit more this year, there's not teams that throw it a ton. Fairfield Union's a run first team week 1, Philo, Morgan, those guys are all run heavy teams. So I said leading up into the Tri-Valley game that our DBs really hadn't been tested because we just really hadn't, and we had some inexperience back there. And so Maysville really, they were a team that threw the ball a significant amount, and I thought that, because of our pass rush, we were able to get home and create a little less time for the quarterback. We allowed 1 big play in the pass game. But I thought the young guys did a pretty good job of stepping up back there. But as always, when we're good up front, everything else is going to look good. And I thought O-line, D-line did a good job creating holes and winning the line of scrimmage where everybody else could just free flow. And when our linebackers are able to just flow and not have offensive linemen in their laps, they're going to be really, really good.
I'd like to know how did you see Tanner Toth's play Friday night? He's coming off that injury, missed the previous game. How'd he do?
Tremendous, man. Tanner, he last week on this interview said, "Well, not to be big-headed, but my leadership is what I think I bring most to the table." And he's not big-headed. That's exactly what he brings. He brings a voice of comfort on the defensive side because he knows the game plan as well as the coaches. And so his numbers aren't as high this year with tackle-wise, but the impact that he has on a game is incredible. And you can't really measure it with a stat. Just the ability to call out offensive tendencies and formations and plays, to realign guys. There was a set that we had saw on Friday that Maysville hadn't run where they had been an unbalanced set, and he's up there just off of knowledge of the game and experience, kicking our defensive line 1 guy over to make sure that we were accounting for that extra gap. That wasn't something that was on film. That's just something that he's known because he's been in the trenches. So he did a great job playing. Obviously, offensively, he's a big weapon for us. Really threw it 5 times. So his impact was more blocking on Friday than receiving on that side. But defensively, he just a great knowledge of the game, super huge football IQ, and a great leader for us. But it was great to have him back.
I bet.
So, Eli, on defense, what was the key to shutting down Maysville's pass-heavy offense?
I feel like the quarterback didn't hold the ball for very long, so it's mostly just 1, 2, 3 steps. So just getting the quick first step and getting back there and showing that we have pressure, so we couldn't sit back there and hold the ball as long and read our defense and find open guys. So we just had to get back there as quick as we could and try to force a throw so our DBs can make plays, because we got dudes that can make plays when the ball's in the air.
Oh.
Yeah, how about the interception for a touchdown by is that Healy?
Paul Neely. Yeah, that was a fun one to try to watch and see what happened to the ball. It just kind of disappeared. Then all of a sudden, Paul Neely had it, and he was out the gate. He's a guy. He's one of our top 10 fastest guys. That he's playing offensive line for us because of a need. But when he gets the ball in his hand, he can make plays. He had started the year at our H-back position, but it was a need for him to go and play the offensive line for us. On defense, he's playing that outside linebacker spot, and most teams are field-heavy teams where they want to attack the field. So he's our boundary guy. So he really hasn't got a whole lot came to him, so that was an opportunity for him to get the ball in his hands. So that was quite a pick. I think it bounced off Harry, bounced off Tanner, and then right into Paul Neely's lap, and there he went.
Well, I can see him lobbying for like a number that is pronounced like 17 or
well, 6 is the one. 6 is the one he still likes the way. That was the number coming.
Well, I saw him with an ice bag on that knee after the game. How is he?
He's okay. Just a bruised knee. He's
good.
We're obviously just like with anybody. If there's something that's gonna kind of limit their amount of reps throughout the week, we're going to do that. If that means he can go out and play on a Friday. So he went through everything yesterday. It was just fine.
Well, what adjustments, if any, did you have to make during the Maysville game?
There wasn't really any adjustment. Like I said, it was there's some things that when you're in a win, a lot of some of your negatives kind of get covered up a little bit because you're excited you won, everything went well. But we were watching film yesterday, and we watched our first 3 series, and there was about 6 or 7 plays that we were correcting and showing that, hey, listen, this is the guy that we got to block, this is the read guy, this is the read on this play. So even when you're winning, you still have to be able to correct and to make improvements. You can't just be satisfied with winning. Like I said, if they don't have the bad punt, our second offensive snap, we throw a quick screen, and the receivers were looking at me. I was trying to check the play because they gave us a little different look, and so the receivers are looking. Lane doesn't hear it. He's got too much hair. It's covering all of his ears up. But he doesn't hear me yell that, so he snaps the ball. The receivers aren't quite ready. The defense jumps it. That could have been very easily been a pick 6 going the other way. So just again, little things that can help us down the road that the focus is constantly becoming, not you haven't arrived. So continue to work, continue to get better.
Well, I have an offensive question, since most offensive people, when I coached, offended me. Do you know the coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars?
I don't know him.
Are you going to contact him for the scheme for the winning play last night on football game?
Yeah, that's.
I can see Lane doing that easily.
Well, we don't have the same rules as NFL, so if Lane's down, he's going to be down. It's just like the play last year versus West End when Isaiah hands it off to Carson on the 2-point conversion, and he's about to get tackled, and Isaiah yells, "Pitch it!" And so he does, and Isaiah scampers in for a 2-point conversion. That was just how we drew it up. It wasn't something they just did on the fly. So, no, those are fun. Those are fun.
Well, Coach, Meadowbrook's coming off of that huge upset over John Glenn 2 weeks ago, and a lopsided win 49-17 over Coshocton, who we beat 41-0. How does that change the tone of practices this week?
Nothing really, Tim. As I've kind of talked the last few weeks when we've done this, is we're very process oriented. We're very 1 week at a time. This week is no different than last week. It's a big game. It's Meadowbrook's homecoming, so that's always fun to be selected as another team's homecoming. Just a little extra, maybe salt that you can sprinkle on the prep for the week, just to let them know that you were this one selected for that. Because everybody wants to win their homecoming game. It's a chance for us to get 4-0 in the small school division. And 8-0, I believe, would lock up a first round bye for us. So, like I said, everything for us is really just focusing on us. We want to take care of what we can control. Meadowbrook's a good team. They're going to throw the ball around. They're going to spread the field. They've got good athletes. This group, when they were in middle school, ran through the middle school league just like Coshocton did. Those were the top 2 teams for 2 years. So a lot of these juniors that are playing for them are major contributors. Were very good in middle school. So they've got talent. They've got ability. They've got big guys up front. So we're going to have to go out and play a complete game. It's a little bit longer road trip for us, but doesn't really change anything for us. We know that we're going to get their best shot because same as Maysville, if they can sneak a win on us, then they have a higher likelihood of getting into the playoffs. They're kind of on the outside looking in. So there's a lot of things that we could talk about to it, but at the end of the day, we just have to go and execute the game plan and do what we've done the last 7 weeks.
So Meadowbrook being a pass-heavy offense, what are their weapons, I guess, that you need to be aware of?
We actually have a couple. They're more run balanced this year than what they have been the years past. Last year, I think they were 70-80% pass. This year, it's actually more of a 50-50 split. They've got some good receivers on the outside. Bentley Seedor's a kid that, since he was a freshman, has stepped on and been a very good guy, very good athlete, very good player. We got two good receivers. Braden Blackett, running back, is good. They've got a new quarterback this year, but he poses a running threat more so than their quarterback did last year. But they're a very experienced team. These guys brought, I think, 6 or 7 guys back. There it was again. Gosh darn it, back on the on both sides of the ball. So they have experience. They've got weapons. They've got talent. So by no means is this going to be just a pushover or anything like that. We're expecting a battle.
Eli, when you look at the scouting report for the week, have you played against these individuals from Meadowbrook more than once? I mean, do you remember those guys?
Yes, I've played against a lot of them in 8th grade and 7th grade. I've played against them really my whole career. I've just remember them from them. I mean, they really beat us every year since we've been playing them until we got to high school. And most of them played a lot of snaps last year, so I got to see them last year. And so I've basically been playing them.
So that was something I never experienced. We never played anybody. We didn't have very many teams in our league, and so I see guys all the time from New Lex and Kirksville that talk about the game they played back in '47. They still remember the third play of the game. So who stands out in your mind for this team?
I feel like they're all pretty solid players. I mean, their offensive line's big, and they've always been really better than us. Like in 7th and 8th grade, they were better than us up front, and once we got to high school, I feel like we kind of became better than them, and so their offensive line's solid. And then some of their skill guys are fast, and they've just kid that Coach Borden mentioned, I remember him, and he's started since a freshman, so he's been solid. So.
Eli, as someone in the trenches, what's your focus against a Meadowbrook team that's scored 40-plus points in their last 2 games?
Just dominate. I mean, I think that's the goal. Every single game is go into the game and just dominate and just do what we're coached. We have 2 great offense and defensive line coaches that are just teach us what we're supposed to do and give us a great stuff throughout the week to go out there and execute what we're taught, and just the drills that we do throughout the week is really what helps us in the game.
Well, I agree. You guys must be getting some great coaching. I can't remember a game where you guys didn't dominate the line of scrimmage, and I think that was really evident in the week of Tri-Valley. I think everybody kind of looked at that game to see if you guys were for real, and that was just. You guys just dominated the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and it's been tough the last 2 years, which we've been really a pass-heavy team, and because we've always been younger than everybody else coming into the games, and this year we've kind of taken a step up, and now we're running the ball a lot more, and just being able to dominate the line of scrimmages helps our quarterback out a lot, and not having to throw the ball as much as we used to. So that's just.
Well, speaking of running, Coach, what coaching do you give your quarterback that allows him the freedom to take off, or is he just a gypsy and
Well, I wouldn't call him a gypsy, but I think I forget the clinic that I was in, but they talked about not coaching the playmaker out of the playmaker. As coaches, you want something very strict and regimented because this is what you've seen on film and what you want to happen. But then you put an Isaiah, a Lane, a Logan, a Lucas back there that, if they have the opportunity to run, they're pretty tough to stop. So, the quarterbacks go through their reads and progressions, and they have things that they're looking for. But if they get to about their 3rd progression and haven't found something open, it's very unlikely there is. So, we work scrambling all the time, and we're stepping up into the pocket. Lane's done a much better job here the last few weeks. Early in the season, the tendency is you want to try to roll out and get depth. And the problem is the defensive ends and outside backers, when they're the primary rushers, are just a lot quicker, and they can't. It's just a tougher go. So he's done a much better job of stepping up. Tri-Valley game, same thing. He stepped up into the pocket and was able to find success that way. But it's not really I don't want to run a whole lot of design quarterback runs because I don't want him taking a whole lot of shots. But but he's done a really good job of seeing the field. Like I said, Isaiah used to do the same thing, and it's there was times where, man, just step up and get 2 or 3 and call it. But it's like I said, if you're teaching that, then you're going to miss some of those big plays where he runs about 3 different lengths of the field, finds Bentley, and they run for 80. So it's one of those things of, like I said, as a coach, and as probably a control freak a little bit. I had Coach Linscomb at Philo told me that when I let him know that every one of our scrimmage films was scripted, that every play was scripted, so the tendencies were not what he was necessarily looking for. But I want to make sure that we're playing in scheme, not playing in backyard football. There's always an element to it, and when something breaks down, that's going to happen. And that's the beauty of football now, that a lot of people are moving to a more mobile quarterback versus somebody that can stand on a platform and just throw. You've got to have answers when the pocket breaks down. And so Lane's ability to run and his athleticism has really allowed him to step in and be a big-time contributor. He had 7 carries for 100 and something yards last week. Tri-Valley, he was the weapon that they couldn't stop.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Like I said, it's one of those things of I'd love for him to take a 3-step drop and deliver the ball on time where it needs to go, but sometimes high school defenses don't play exactly how they should, or they get there a little quicker, a little later, and so the picture's not as cloudy, or is a little bit more cloudy. So he's just became a big weapon for us that way.
I don't think Tyson Spicer, to me, had the same running style. I mean, they make a cut at full speed, and I think that really just kills the defensive pursuit. I know he ran past a couple guys last week that I'm sure that they thought they had him cornered, and they never touched him. So I just wondered, what your key was for him to go.
Yeah, it's kind of it's like when I'm sure you coach basketball at some point in your life, where that guy comes up, he pulls up a 3 from 10 feet further than he should. No, yes, great shot. It's like I said, it's not necessarily what you want, but sometimes it turns into something good. And if you're going to take the good, you've got to be able to take the bad. There's been some plays where we try to create, and we may have missed a read, or we may not get as many yards we could, but those big plays are the ones that are going to keep you doing that.
You mean like the timeout that Coach Day called when Julian saying sneak for the first down, but he called a timeout and put the other quarterback in and lost 4 yards? Yeah.
So I have a scheme question. So I watched the Browns this past Sunday, and obviously they lost in Browns fashion. However, Dylan Gabriel being a left-handed quarterback, I saw them running a lot of plays that were designed for like a left-handed quarterback. Having Isaiah Stephens and Lane Ratliff, have you changed your scheme at all for left-handed quarterbacks?
No, all of our stuff is flippable. We can play it right or left-handed. As a right-handed guy, sometimes I get caught playing a little bit more right-handed than I should. Knowing that we've got lefties, that's just, I guess, part of my being right-handed. And same as, just is, it's interesting, I guess. But Isaiah and I talked about that his junior year. And he's like, well, Coach, you're calling a lot of stuff to the right. It's a little easier for me to throw to the left. So, like, he was opening up his drop, where it was almost more of a back pedal. Because he was doing that, he wasn't on rhythm. He was at a time with the receivers route, so that was a lot of miss, which led to a lot of scrambles. So you've got to give the guys an opportunity to do what they do better. And so, yes, I've gotten better at calling stuff more to the left, especially on passing downs. Now for a lefty, quick screens are quicker to the right because they're able to just step and throw it right now, versus a righty would have to flip and turn. So, so you want your screens a little bit more to the right, your concepts a little bit more to the left. So we've done some things to try to help him, but he throws the ball both ways equally as good. They'll just continue to get him reps both ways.
So you're undefeated, first in small school, and number 1 in Region 15 in Division 4. How are both of you handling that attention internally?
We'll let you go first.
You go into each and every game as with the same purpose, and you gotta win this game, so you don't have a slip up, and every team's gonna come into the game and give you their best because you're really the team to beat, and so you don't want to be the team that gets upset. So you just got to keep and go into every game with the same mindset of we're just going to go in here and dominate because we are the number 1 team, instead of we are the number 1 team, so we're just going to go in here and not play how we're supposed to.
See, I figured if I said that, he would have just said same, so that's why I want to let him talk first. No, that's what it is, and that's the mentality we try to get across all our guys. It's 1 week at a time. It doesn't matter who we play next week, because if you miss this one, now you're 3-1 in the small. Now you've opened the door for somebody else to tie you or share the title, and that's not what you want. So we take it 1 week at a time, and we realize that if we take each week and accomplish our goals as we go, everything else that we want is going to take care of itself. Like I said, this week is a chance to get to 4-0, so you're automatically getting a share of the title at minimum. We're getting that first round bye, which is a goal for us, that we can rest week 11, get healthy, go out to be able to scout the other teams that we're going to see down the road. So as long as we're taking care of our goals week by week, we're going to be fine. But when you get caught up is when you start looking ahead and you don't take this opponent who needs this win to get in the playoff picture. That's where you're going to have some trouble. So I'm just trying to stay focused 1 week at a time.
So, watching the game last Friday, I saw a huge shift that's been happening over the last couple of weeks with freshman Dalton Wade. What's been the key to his growth and his playing time? Because he's getting a lot more of it as the weeks progress. He's
very coachable. That to me is the kind of the separator for guys that can go on and play for you as freshmen. Is guys that, because it's a huge jump for any kid. When you come from middle school to high school, the amount of time you're spending, the amount of scheme that you're implementing, to be able to have answers for everything you might see throughout the year. So that July month where we do all of our install, you either get some kids that really sink or they swim because they're able to figure it out. And so Dalton's been very coachable. He's a fearless kid. He's actually been playing JV and freshman quarterback for us. He's never played quarterback before. And you talk about a position of pressure. You're touching the ball every play, and you have to dictate who goes where and where the ball gets to. So for a kid that is really an H-back for us or a running back, having to step in and play quarterback and just look calm. That to me was a big tell that he could handle that pressure in that moment. But he's been very coachable. Last week we actually sent him to the D-line for the first week with Paul. We weren't really sure if he was early in the week how available he would be on Friday. So we were a little short with our defensive line. So we said, hey, Dalton, why don't you go down and put your hand in the dirt and go give that a try? Because he's shown on special teams. He's a hitter. He's not afraid of tackling kids. He's figured out and has played. He played H-back for us last week with Tanner banged up. So he's gotten some reps. But last week he went and played some D-line just to hopefully protect Paul a little bit more as he was coming back. And he looked very comfortable there. He looked very natural, and he's a strong kid. He's worked hard in the weight room. He has for the last 2 or 3 years. But I think that the biggest kind of leveler is he's very coachable. And he can take coaching. He can hear something one time and figure it out versus having to be told the same thing 4 and 5 times. So that's put him at the head of the class to allow him to get those opportunities.
So like Doug said last Friday night, a young player can practice and play on Saturdays, but there's no experience like Friday Night Lights. So Eli, what's your advice to all the underclassmen that are getting a lot of reps on Friday nights?
It's different than, I never played JV, so I came straight from 8th grade and started, and it is a lot different than like playing at a lower level. And so you just got to do what your coaching is really like doing what your coach is really, because they put you in the best position possible to really succeed in what you're doing. And so I feel like one of the most things is how fast the game is compared to JV. And so you just got to speed your mind up and just take what you're coached to do and just use it on the field.
Well, Eli, now that we have the head coach here trapped defensively, every now and then you get to sneak out and play where there's a little sunshine out there at defensive end instead of down there in the tunnel of nose man. So what do you like best about each position? I mean, when you're right in the middle, there's no such thing as a play that goes away from you when you're the nose man. I mean, when you're a defensive end, what do you like about both spots?
Nose, I like. There's nothing like defeating a double team, like splitting it and then making a tackle for loss. That's probably one of my favorite things to do. And playing defensive end, I like pass rushing more from the defensive end spot. So that's always fun because then it's usually one dude it's one-on-one. Yeah. So instead of nose, when you're trying to pass rush, it's like you got to stay there and cage the quarterback and not let him go up the middle. And so I like playing both of them. Like nose, I like to stop the run more because and I just like rushing the quarterback, get to work on my moves a little bit more instead of just bull rushing in the middle.
Did you see the picture of you? I think it was in the Times Recorder or the Tribune. Maybe it was in the Tribune. Of you squashing the quarterback.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
I mean, I think I'd have a poster of that put up on the wall.
Yeah.
That was great because you not only sacked him, because I saw, we did that game and it was obvious you were going to sack the quarterback, and I thought, well, how's he going to put this guy on the ground? And I mean, you positioned him to be on the poster boy for a pancake box, man. You squashed him. And it was their backup quarterback too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you have any guilt feelings about that, Eli?
Not really, because I didn't really have a choice. So like he tried to escape, and then I just grabbed a hold of him and just went down with him and just landed on him. I don't really try to do that to people because I don't like want people to.
Right.
If that was me, I wouldn't want people doing that to me. So I don't like playing dirty. So I just it's just how it all happens.
So, Coach, you talked about how Week 11 is a good time for the guys to get healthy. What about this week? Are there any injuries that you want to speak about or we should know about?
I cannot confirm nor deny that, Sam.
Good answer.
No, I'm just joking. No, injuries were good. Tanner played a full game last week and played well. Paul played offense. He had 4 touchdowns. So he just played offense last week. This week, he should be able to get back into the defense. Except bruised ribs is just kind of a nuisance that, it's just more or less your pain tolerance. And so we kind of, we felt like Dalton had a good week of prep, so we were able to get him some reps. If Paul was really needed, if it came down to a final drive, Paul could have went in and played, But it was just like I said, you're trying to, when you're up 35-0 at the end of the first quarter, you're okay, well, hey, listen, there's no need. Kind of like Morgan, we were up. Paul had a little danged up hand, so it was like, well, let's not risk it because he's too valuable to what we're doing. So, and that's where I think that, guys like Dalton and some other guys have really stepped in. We've been able to get a lot of guys some reps at the end of games to get them up to speed because we've been in situations where the score's been a good thing for us, and those reps are helping guys next week, or this past week, when Dalton's got to go play almost the entire game of defensive end, can go in and do that because he got reps week 2, week 3, week 4. But like I said, Paul Neely's the only one that kind of got dinged a little bit Friday with his knee. But as the season goes, nobody's ever 100% healthy. You're just kind of playing through some things. So it's what we always talk at the beginning of the year, like, hey, this is the healthiest you'll be. Enjoy it while you can, because everybody's going to be playing through a little something. Whether like I said, it's something that's been, you've been taken out of the game, and Sarah and Dr. Hagen Joes have had to talk to you, or it's just something that you're kind of battling through. Like nobody's 100% healthy. Mm-hmm. Well, you're 7-0, coming off of scoring 54 points on Maysville last week and being undefeated. I'm sure every team is going to try to give you their best game in hopes to give you your first loss of the season. With everything building up to be an historic season, I'll leave you with this. What does it mean to be a part of this team this year and with these guys? I'll let you go first.
It's awesome. You just tell a difference in the locker room. Everybody's real close with each other, and we don't really have anybody that tries to tear the team down and really cares about themselves more than the team. So I feel like that's a huge part about it, is everybody just wants the team to be successful and not themselves to get the individual success more than they want the team. Like everybody wants to play good themselves, but I feel like everybody cares more about the team than. And it's just, I've learned a lot this year from just what an actual team is like and to be a part of, and so it's just been nice to have that.
Well, I think that's evident. The way you guys play, the way you come on the field, especially the way you come on the field, Eli, before the game. The team comes out, they look like a swarm of bees coming on the field, and then there you are. You're like, okay, time to punch the clock, put in 8 hours and go home. But the way you guys play, it is exciting to watch you guys interact with each other on the field after a big play. So good luck this week. And I think Meadowbrook is definitely going to be, they're playing their best football this season, and it couldn't be at a better time for them. So hit them where they look the biggest, and that way they're harder to miss.
Thank you all for watching, and best of luck to both of you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.